night match of the NBA, the Lakers visiting the Pelicans. Another Lakers loss, and it was costly for many reasons. Let's take you through it. LA a half game ahead of New Orleans in the West coming in. This is early in the second quarter, and this is the scary moment here. LeBron attempts to crash the boards right there. You see him go down because he hurt his ankle in the process. Take another look. Oh, that's tough to look at right there as he steps on the foot of Jackson Hayes. You take a quick breather, but return to action. More on that in a second, though. It did not slow him down, at least here. Wide open three from the wing, deep again, and then from basically the same spot. Here's the thing, because he was limited, he wasn't driving. He stayed outside in the perimeter, and it was working. 6 threes in the first half. That ties a career high for any half. So Lakers up 20, LeBron at 25 at that point. C.J. McCollum trying to bring the Pelicans back into this game. He had 18 points. Pelicans went from 23 down to a 2-point lead. Let's add it, make it to 4 with Brandon Ingram there, who coming back after a 3-week absence. The swat there, LeBron coming up with the big block. Clearly shows the ball on its way down, though. Goaltending on LeBron. He didn't seem to agree. It was that kind of a night as they give up a big lead. They lose the game 116 to want to wait a big win for the Pelicans. And afterwards, here's LeBron James on the ankle, among other things.
From the time that I turned my ankle, I felt a sharp pain run up my leg. It started getting hot, and I've been there before with ankle sprains before. So, but I didn't want to come out the game because I understood it. I just wanted to win the game. Understood how big of a game it was for us. It's horrible. It's horrible right now. And unfortunately, we're about to hop on a flight too. So see what happens day to day, but it's pretty sore right now.
And you understand why. That was a pretty ugly sprain. The loss moved them from 9th in the West standings to 10th. The Pelicans move into that 9th spot, actually. And the rest of their schedule, this is not pretty. According to ESPN's Basketball Power Index, they have the hardest remaining schedule of any team in the league. And they're favored in just 1 of their final 8 games. BPI currently giving the Lakers a 44% chance to make the play-in tournament. So it's gone from bad to worse for the Lakers. Let's bring in Tim Legler for more on their struggles because, Tim, that schedule, and then they're barely holding on to that last play-in spot. Now LeBron's hurt. No word yet on Anthony Davis when he comes back. And maybe this isn't what they want to discuss, but at what point does this team make a business decision? And frankly, look ahead to next year? Or is it too early to think that way?
Truthfully, Sage, if you've got LeBron James on your roster, you never think that way because you've got a finite number of years that LeBron James is going to continue to be an NBA player. You've got him on your roster. You think about winning every single night, and you don't ever concede, not if he can physically go out there and play. And obviously, this has been one of the best scoring runs of his entire career. In fact, he's the oldest guy by a mile to ever put up these kinds of scoring numbers. You've got to go back to Michael Jordan at 32 years old, Steph Curry, guys like that. LeBron James, at 37 years old, to be playing this well offensively, gives you a chance every single night. If you can just hold down a fort till Anthony Davis comes back, they think they've got a shot to roll the ball out with that kind of talent, and they've got a shot against anybody. So I just don't think you ever really give in to that mentality with 8 games left in the season that you're going to shut it down. If he can physically take the court, he takes the court, and you try to win games because you don't know how much longer LeBron James is going to be wearing an NBA uniform, and that's really got to be your mentality. I don't think you have long-term planning when you've got a guy 37 years old named LeBron James. You've got to try to win every game, every night, and give yourselves a chance. If you can just get into a play-in and Anthony Davis makes a return, you say, hey, with all this talent, let's give it a shot. Let's see what you got.
There are a lot of ifs there, if AD, and if this ankle is not bad for LeBron, because he described it quite colorfully with how he was feeling afterwards. 39 points, 4 straight 35-point games, to your point about being 37 and looking incredible. Another team holding on to a play-in spot right now is the Brooklyn Nets, currently 9th in the East. Kyrie's return to Brooklyn yesterday, spoiled by LaMelo Ball and the Hornets. They won 119-110. Kyrie did not play well. 6 of 22 from the floor, 1 of 9 from 3. He finished with 16 and 11 assists. This comes after an ugly 11-point showing in Saturday's loss to Miami. So as for Brooklyn's upcoming schedule, they're also battling, and all but one of their remaining 7 games this season will be played in the state of New York. So that's a good thing. Lone exception is a road game against Atlanta. That's this weekend. If the regular season ended today, Brooklyn would host the Hawks and Trae Young in that 9 versus 10 play-in matchup. So Tim, Brooklyn would need to win 2 play-in games to even make the postseason. That's if they stay at 9. So aside from last night, Their scoring has been off the charts, led by Kevin Durant, of course. Their defense, though, not so good. How can they address that so late in the season?
Well, listen, Sage, you weren't going to take Rocky Balboa and make him into Floyd Mayweather, right? A defensive fighter, right? He's going to come out swinging. And so the answer to that question is you don't. There's really nothing they're going to be able to do. Maybe you adjust some schemes, play a little bit more zone if you can. They were counting on Ben Simmons to address a lot of these issues defensively. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. So the answer to your question is, how do you get better on defense? You become unstoppable on offense. And with those two players, you actually have a chance to do that a lot of nights. And if you can force teams to take the ball out of the net, that is your best defense. So for me, it's Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, two guys that have excelled when you turn up the lights. And they are going to be there when it matters. There's no question they're going to be able to handle the pressure. And on a given night, if you run out of the tunnel, Sage, with those two guys, you've got a legitimate chance no matter how porous your defense is, because they're not going to all of a sudden add personnel. They're not going to really dramatically change the way they play man-to-man defense. They are who they are on that end of the floor. If you don't get Ben Simmons back, then just go be better offensively, and it's going to give you a chance in any series because you've got the two guys that can be the best player on the floor any night. And not everybody in the Eastern Conference could say that.
Yeah, and we've been saying all season long, if they could just get Kyrie back, the mandate lifted, okay, that has happened. And now if they can get the consistent scoring that they've had from Kyrie so far, and certainly Kevin Durant, then like the Lakers, who knows what can happen. It begins tonight as they host the Detroit Pistons. Tim Legler, thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.